Hello everyone. We are live. So, let me do a quick sound check? Can everyone see us? Can everyone hear us? Please use the chat to tell us if you can see and hear us, if we are live or if I'm talking to myself. Yes, I got one. So someone can see us. Awesome. So welcome everyone. Before we start and I start presenting our amazing speakers for the session today, I'm gonna ask you a question. Where are you from? Where are you hearing us from? If you can type on the chat, Portugal, Lisbon, awesome, Braga. Oh, we have people from all over Portugal. That's nice. Awesome. So today we have an amazing session coming up. Not gonna spoil it. The content looks amazing. You're gonna see. I'm here with people from Visma, and they're gonna talking about embed security for software delivery pipeline. So my name is Andresa. Before I start everything, my name is Andresa Mendes. I work at the marketing team at Landing.Jobs. And just a quick note on what we do. We are a candidate-driven tech career marketplace. So we match great tech talent around the world, just like you, with great opportunities and companies. So just like we have today with Visma. Uh, while here today, we are going to talk, like I said, about embedding security into the software delivery pipeline. I'm here with the Visma team, and they have prepared an amazing session for you today. Before I ask them to introduce themselves and start our amazing session, I want to get as much as possible for the webinar. So if you see, there is a ask question button that you can put your questions that we are going to address them in the end. Don't be shy, you can ask them. And also feel free to use the chat to interact, to share information about you, and of course, to comment on the amazing session that's coming up. So I'm gonna stop talking because I talk a lot, and I'm gonna ask our guest speakers today to introduce themselves and introduce Visma.
Okay. Um, Hello, everybody. Welcome to this session. I hope that you can see my screen. It disappeared. Let me
No,
try
yes.
again. Can you see now?
Yes, now it's working.
Good. So now two girls from the security team in Visma will tell you a little bit more about how we do security here and what you can try to do in your own code and in your place of work. But before we start digging into that, let's introduce a little bit ourselves. So, my name is Monica Jovan. I'm head of security development in Visma. And some things to know about me. I love to be around my family. I'm a convinced familist. I'm also a researcher, so I have a PhD and I collaborate with different universities to do research. And I'm a continuous learner. So I think the last two are somehow connected to each other because, of course, you cannot be a researcher if you do not like to learn. So that's me. And you can also see my LinkedIn profile and also my email in case you want to get in contact to me or if you want to ask me anything, feel free to do that. Now, Alina, maybe you can introduce yourself.
Yes, so hi, I hope you can hear me as well. My name is Alina. I am working together with Monica and I am working as a lead security architect in the security department. I have been working in Visma for more than 12 years. Started as a programmer and slowly transitioned from on-premise to cloud and now working in the security development department. I have a daughter, I have a dog, and I really enjoy hiking and being outside in the nature. I have been working a lot with Microsoft related technologies and mainly with the Azure cloud in the recent years. As you can see, that is my LinkedIn profile. As Monica said, if you want to see what we are doing in Visma, what events we are preparing, you can follow us and, of course, get in contact with us if you have any questions.
Okay, so who is Visma? I think this is a question that you might have because it's not very known in Portugal. We are very known in the Nordics of Europe. It's a company that is doing ERP software, and I can tell you some things that are not on this slide. Like, for example, that we own more than 300 companies, small, medium, and large ones. And this is the way that Visma prefers to grow. We buy companies that have great ideas in automating the business profile. And something else that is more interested if for developers or for technical people is that we have all the technology possible in the world. So in Visma, you still can find developers in COBOL. I was really surprised, to be honest, when I saw that. But we have also all the new technologies and some of them that I not even heard of. So we have all of them. Of course, that the main ones are .NET and Java. These are the main ones, and most of our products are built using this. But we have also, like I said, any kind of framework that you might imagine. The same goes with databases, and the same goes with how we store our infrastructure. The idea is that we build SaaS products, so we are hosting almost all our products in cloud, and our main providers are AWS, Azure, and Google. But again, we have any kind of hosting provider you might heard of. So for sure, you will never be bored in Visma because you'll learn a lot of new things, and you have where to choose from. And this is also why it's a little bit difficult to provide security services for Visma, because each company and each product that we build has their own identity. We don't try to change that identity. We try to let the companies and the products to decide by themselves what's better for their product and for their customers, and we just try to help them out. But now let me tell you the story of Pedro. Pedro was a software developer, and he had a really nice uh, life. Everything was good. Everything was really amazing. He has 3 kids. He loves his family. He has a car and a home, and everything feels really good. Like he's in the best period of his life. And I'm asking you, how important is security for you? And here I'm not speaking only about security, like in software security, but also security of your personal life, of your, like, feeling secure from financial system or anything from your government or any other parts. Maybe you can answer in chat how important is security for you. We see very important. I think that's also for Pedro. But he didn't thought too much about security before, till he received a call from his manager that the application that he was working on was hacked. And I can tell you from my personal experience, because I've been through this also in my career in Visma. The application that I work from got their source code leaked, and it was found on the internet for sale. And I can tell you that it's really, really bad. you can suffer for post traumatic stress because of this, and your mood and everything can go really, really bad in the period that you find out that your code was hacked. But it's not only the application that can get hacked, you also can get hacked by you, meaning you as a person. And we also had this type of cases in Visma when one of our colleagues from marketing used an uh, shared Wi-Fi, an unencrypted one, and somebody stole her password. Then from there, they managed to penetrate Visma systems. But of course, our colleagues helped to mitigate the situation. But I can tell you for sure that her life was not the same after this event, and she was really, really stressed. And this can happen to anybody, even people that are very secure aware, and this can happen to people that don't know anything about security. But this is why we started to discuss what you can do to try to be a little bit more secure in your application. So what you can do is to think about the code that you are writing and just ask yourself, how secure is your code? Do you feel that it's secure enough? Do you think that it can be improved? Are you willing to improve it? Are you willing to change your habits to improve it? Or you think that it doesn't matter because you'll never be hacked? And I can tell you that these are the main enemies in security. People think that maybe they are too small to be hacked, nobody cares about them, or maybe they have firewall and firewall will save them from any kinds of hacks. But you know what? Everybody is in interest of being hacked, so it doesn't matter if you are working for a small company or a big company, you still have the risk of being hacked. And even if you have firewalls, you still have the same problem, because security is more about applying layers over layers. It's not only about one wall, but it's about applying more like an onion to build an onion protection. Another enemy for security is the fact that many says, we trust our employees, they know what they are doing, they don't do mistakes, and we are sure that everything is very secure. And I think this is really bad, because we shouldn't put everything on the shoulder of our employees. We should try to help them in this problem of security, which is really, really big. But then many says, but it's too difficult to do security. And I know that when I started to work for security, I also was thinking that it's very difficult. And this is because many of us didn't know what security is. But like with everything in life, once you start learning about that topic, you become better and better, and things don't seem so difficult. So the only thing that you need to do is just take one step closer to security and learn a little bit more. Other people think that they are so good in security that they cannot be hacked ever. But as you can see from Mission Impossible movies, everybody can be hacked. It doesn't matter how secure you think your system is. It's all depending on the money and the time the hackers want to invest in hacking you. So you can try to build as much as possible in regards of security, but still is not bulletproof. And other companies are complaining about insufficient funds. And this, yes, can be a problem. And in Visma, we address this by taking all the cost of security in one department, and it's paid by the global team. And it's not an issue necessary for smaller companies or for companies that don't want to invest too much money in security, because it's still possible to use open source. Maybe it's a little bit harder, maybe you don't have the best dashboards possible, but still it will help you improve your security on the way. So we know all this, we try to do security, and what's the first thing that security people try to do is they try to create policies. So this is by default what security people try to do. They try to comply with different standards, and the best way to do that is uh, to create policies. But of course, nobody reads policies, nobody cares about them, or maybe they not even hear about them, so it's not helping. The other thing that you can do as a company is to give all the security things to your developers. And then developers in this day needs to do front and back end testing, infrastructure, security, and now sustainability, availability, and I don't know what else will come up. And in the end, the developers will feel that they are drowning. So combining all this together, what will end up in a big fire. So why it's all this? Why do we have all these problems? This is because some developers and operation people view security like this one. Okay, they presume that security people will do everything, will protect them. And how do you recognize a security person? They are always speaking about policies and ISO. This is their words. But then the security and operation people see the developers like this one, like kids that they cannot control their impulse to write code and submit it directly to production without checking the policies and the standards and everything. And how do you recognize the developers? Usually by words like agile, Jira, and pull request and things like that. Then some security people and developers view the operation like this person. They usually are stressed because they have a lot of issues on their hands to fix, and everything is on fire, and they need to do very fast, and they are not willing to give you admin access to fix the issues, but they cannot fix it by themselves because they are overloaded, and then problem starts. And usually you find the operation people by ITIL words, network, backup, service desk, words like this. And all of the previous ones sees the boards member like these ones, like very old guys, maybe even bald. They are very mythical. You never know what they are doing. Usually they are discussing about buying things, selling things, investing in that, investing in something else, and probably they don't even know what developers or security or operation people do. But in the end, all of these people want to be ninjas in their field. So all of them want to make sure that they are doing a good job, and they want to do everything in their power to make the company work, because otherwise they will remain without a job. So in the end, also all of them are part of the development of an application. Even if we see it or if you don't see it, if you do not work together, all of these roles, you will not be able to secure your product completely, because each of these roles have a special place in this cycle that you can see on the screen. So what we want you to do, by the way, does any of you know what this is? What's the animal name? This animal, do you recognize it? No. This is the happiest animal in the world. It's called quokkas. So why does we discuss about quokkas in a security presentation? Well, I would like all of you to become quokkas, because they are living in Australia. So imagine that you are in a land when everybody wants to hurt you. They have the most it's the place with most killing animals, like most dangerous ones, and still this quokka is the most happy animal in the world. And he's like that because he is always happy to share food and shelter and everything with the others around him. So he doesn't want to be the special one. He wants to be just around. So I would like all of us to be quokkas, and it doesn't matter how many predators are trying to hunt us, and by predators I mean hackers. We need to chill and we need to share information together with the other roles, and together we'll be much stronger and then much safer. So be a quokka. So now after this talk, do you still want to be safe? Do you want to be a quokka? Yes. Okay. So first thing that you need to do then is to grade your software, the code that you are writing or you are part of, on this scale, and try to think, why did you scale it in the way that you scale it? Like, for example, if you say that it's a 10, what do you base your scale on? Do you have a security team behind? Are you sure that you scan and do everything that it's important to do? Or is it because you never have been hacked, or on based on what? And the same if you say that, for example, you are a 3, why do you think it's a 3? Is it because you do not have enough awareness in your team? Is it because you don't know what to do? Or is it because, for example, you prefer the methodology check in and pray instead of doing code reviews and tests and so on? So with these questions in mind, I will give the word to Alina to show you how you can improve the code and the application that you are working on, and how you apply small tricks here and there so that you can be much safer. Alina, you have the word.
Yes, and I will start sharing right now. So let's see. Just let me know when you are able to see
Yes,
my screen. Yeah.
we are able.
Okay. Good. Thank you. So I will continue from where Monica left, which is the software development lifecycle. And what I will do is each of these steps, life cycle steps, we will take a bit more diving into and see what security activities we can apply to each of them in order to all be this quokka animal that I just heard about today. So the software development lifecycle consists of a series of steps, as you say. It starts with requirements gathering, then developers go in, they write code, they push it, then we have testers that test the code, deploy it to production, and maybe pray. And we have IT personnel that does the operation on monitoring that our application is healthy, it's working as expected. So let us see how and where security activities can be applied to this life cycle. First, let's start a bit going back and think of how was security seen for many years. And this was the shift right approach, where security was understood as IT infrastructure security. Software, the one sold off the shelf or on-premise software, how we used to call it, was secure as long as the customer IT department, IT personnel were securing their network. Security was shifted right to the end customers. When something went wrong, it was their failure of doing incorrect software configuration, networking configuration, firewalls, everything that Monica was telling you about. But things have changed, and we have agile development methodologies. We have cloud deployed applications. We have adoption of open source components, and all have changed the way security is embedded into this development lifecycle. The modern software development lifecycle moves a lot faster. and applications are being deployed multiple times a day. So developers are increasingly becoming the primary drivers when it comes to the adoption of application security implementation and verifications. And then, can we talk about shift right or shift left anymore? I think it's about shifting everywhere in this life cycle. Developers, which are today full stack developers, which are also maybe infrastructure, need to know infrastructure and cloud deployment, are responsible for everything. They are required to deliver functionality fast with as few bugs as possible, with increased quality and security. So developers are to write tests and need to be aware of performance, write secure code. So the trick is figuring out, okay, how to insert security checks into the software development lifecycle, but to allow developers, of course, to find and fix vulnerabilities as soon as possible, but without slowing them down. So then let's take a look at this process and try to see what we can apply at each of these stages. So I have here put together both the application part and the infrastructure part, because today we need to see them as combined and integrated and not as two separate parts of the development lifecycle. Security verification and automation of this verification is very important to be able to achieve continuous delivery of a secure application. So if we start from left, we have here developers writing code and pushing that code to the source code repo. Then we have a continuous integration server that fetches those files, fetches also maybe external dependencies, and then creates the delivery, the package. That package is then pushed to a deployment server that pushes infrastructure, pushes the application to maybe multiple test environments, and in the end, reaching the production environment. After the application has been deployed to production, we have operations. And operations is also a very important step and should not be forgotten, because that's where you need to know when something goes wrong. You need to know that the application is targeted. If you don't know and you are just a happy employee that I have pushed to production, not now everything is fine, then you could end up in some downtime or other problems, larger problems. So we will take each one and then take one, two of the different activities and dive a bit more into them. So then let's start with developers and they writing code and committing code to source code repository. In our opinion, everything starts with training and awareness, because most developers have not been trained or given exposure to security topics. If you are to search the first Stack Overflow suggestions on any security related topic, that is not. Either is very old, unsecure, totally wrong. So that's where OWASP came in. And OWASP, also known as Open Web Application Security Project, actually they are not one project, they are multiple projects. Their projects expand to all the software delivery pipeline, from security knowledge framework, they have the OWASP top 10, to testing guidelines, to training applications and testing tools. And their main purpose and scope is this one: to train and raise awareness, and to help developers, companies to write better code and much more secure. So I have here some of their projects. They have quite a lot. We'll start with Secure Coding Dojo. This is a very nice a training platform that I will give a bit more details in my next slide. They have for dependency checker, they have this dependency tracker. The Juice Shop application is one of their vulnerable applications. They have more, and then you can just test your knowledge by trying to break this application. They have testing guides. This is the mobile one. They have for web applications as well. And of course, the ZAP, I see that someone commented, the ZAP proxy that you can use to test the outer layer of your application. So let's look at, yes, this training platform. Gamification has been seen as being very motivator for developers. And developers are usually interested in writing good and secure code. So this training platform allows you to learn and also test your knowledge. Like, for example, you see here, you have this code where it's shown how they check if a user is admin or not. This case using the parameters, the request parameters. So then what you can do, of course, go change from false to true and see what happens. And in this case, you test it in the application. You just go from one challenge to another. And of course, the challenges get harder and harder. This is a free platform, and what I have been trying today is to give examples of free software, open source software that you can use. Of course, there are other platforms that maybe do much more, but this one is a very good start. Then another thing that you can have for developers is these IDE security plugins. Here I had Visual Studio Code, .NET Code in my case. I enabled Dev Scheme, and then what this does is, well, I create a new instance of MD5 crypto provider, and then automatically the plugin says, well, MD5 is a weak algorithm, broken one, so should not be used. This is immediate feedback that developers get while they write code. And as we all know, the sooner the feedback or the problem is found, the better, because it can be fixed much more faster, cost money, everything. Everyone is happy. Another thing that you can have before committing the code, and this relates to the infrastructure code, because today you might know that we also write infrastructure code in files like we do with regular code. And then these files can contain configurations, and some of these configurations might not be the best ones, or could actually be misconfigurations that would result in a deployment of an insecure infrastructure. And here is IAC, which stands for Infrastructure as Code Scanning Tools come from. This is an example from ARM template analyzer. This analyzes ARM templates used in the Azure cloud. And as you can see here, there were a set of rules that passed. For my template, one failed. Then I immediately can go on and see, well, oh, what's the problem? Yes, I did not enable HTTPS on my web app, so I can do that. Let's move on with continuous integration. So here is when you have the whole source code, maybe multiple repos that are being built. You also get the dependencies from different sources. So here we could include maybe a static application security testing tools. This might take a couple of minutes until they are scanning your source code. This scans your entire source code. And the same as with the ID plugin, but of course, much more detailed, you get information. What parts of that source code maybe are vulnerable. In this case, the same, the file name is retrieved from a request parameter, and then that is used without any other verification to create the file on disk and write something in that file. Of course, someone can just use absolute paths and go back and write to other areas. I think OWASP has quite a good list of different SAST tools that can be used. And yes, there are a lot of software vendors that offer this. Still, with CI/CD, then we have dependencies. And we have a set of tools that are able to scan the publicly disclosed vulnerabilities and then check if you are using those vulnerabilities in your own code. The National Vulnerabilities Database, you have the link here. So this one contains vulnerabilities that were disclosed. And a lot of tools are using it in order to give you suggestions, maybe upgrade from one version to another. In this case, I'm using here Sneak that says that, well, we should upgrade Angular from this version to the other version. And actually Sneak already created a pull request for that. Other type of applications that offer the same functionality, Git has the Dependabot, Synopsys has one, OWASP has the dependency checker, SonarQube. So a lot of vulnerabilities have been found in the dependencies that we use in the code. And today, I think you cannot succeed with building everything from scratch. So we quite rely a lot on these packages that come from the outside, and we need to make sure they are scanned. And last year, there was a problem with the packages, private packages feeds, where an attacker could include malicious code in these packages and be able to force your pipeline to use that package instead of a private one that you have. Meaning that they were registering in NuGet, for example, a package with the same name as yours. And then public repositories have precedence over private repositories. So a lot of engagement from the community was built last year in order to make sure companies are protected against this type of attack. In the continuous delivery pipeline, a step, what we can do. So here at this step, the package that we have just built is deployed to a test environment. So unlike SAST that was scanning the source code, dynamic application security testing, so DAST, examines an application from the outside in its running state, similar to what an attacker would do. And these type of tools, of course, are covering the whole external attack surface of your application. Here I have an example using WASP sub proxy. I just installed locally a vulnerable application, getting products by product category. And what SAP found out is that actually instead of this 17, they have included also a command that would be executed on the SQL server. And they saw that, well, that command was indeed executed because it was a wait of 15 seconds. So their response was indeed prolonged with and took more than 15 seconds. This is also a free tool that you can use. It can help you find these common vulnerabilities in an application. Also, misconfigurations related to maybe stack traces that you, in case of errors, stack traces are shown, or information about the web server is sent with the response. Some of these Dust tools also offer domain and subdomain surface monitoring and detecting misconfigurations that could also lead to subdomain takeovers. Of course, when using these tools in the deployment pipeline, recommended is to stop the pipeline when vulnerabilities are identified by these tools. In today's age, we all use containers. So of course, we have now possibility to scan also the container images. I have here an example with Ensure, finding a vulnerability in a C library. Very much similar reporting it to as the other tools. So now we are at the operations part. So what is the actual configuration and the infrastructure that we have in the cloud? And can this have vulnerabilities that maybe were not detected by the YAC template scanning that we have been doing in the previous steps? And that is usually the case, yes. And then we should make sure that the infrastructure as it is deployed in the production environment, that sometimes is a bit different than the other environments, even if we would not like it to be, is scanned. Cloud providers release a lot of security features continuously, and some of the YAC tools, I think, are lagging a bit behind in implementing these checks. So that's why it should be an and here. It's not that you are doing either or. So continuously assessing your cloud workloads and checking for the recommendations that that you get from the tools you are using will help you harden your assets and also enhance the overall security posture. What I have here is some recommendations from Azure Defender for Cloud, and they were recommendation at subscription level, so not only at application level, telling me that MFA should be enabled on owner users with owner permissions on the subscriptions, telling that for web apps, we should use managed identities when connecting to other resources, so not account keys. Storage accounts should not have public access. And they have a lot of recommendations in the different areas. And then they are also checking your infrastructure and saying, well, you are green, you are red. This is the part that needs to be improved. Another tool that can be used at this level, also free, is SSL Labs. And this SSL Labs is offered by Qualys. And this performs a deep analysis of the configuration or of any web server. It needs to have a public access to the internet, of course. In this case, I tested one of the CNN endpoints, and then you see you get an overall rating of B, which is you usually have A and A plus, and then they have a very detailed report of the improvements. In their case, TLS 10 and 11 were still enabled. We know that this has been deprecated for a couple of years now. They don't have 1.3, and they have a set of weak ciphers that should not be allowed. So if you have any web server, you can go on, and as I said, this is also a public a free tool to use. And then something else about operation is continuous monitoring and identification of suspicious activities, because you have the application running, and then things can go wrong. Like in this case, a suspicious process is executed, or a login from an unusual location, or a login by a service principal that was not used in the last 60 days. You want to know as fast as possible about any of these possible threats. You want your operational team to be able to investigate, to be able to triage, and maybe apply, of course, apply mitigations, and maybe create also some automation related to this. From the operation side, two other things that I would like to mention here is incident management and disaster recovery. So please have a plan. So do not create an incident process when you are facing the incident, and think that things can go wrong, and work at the disaster recovery plan that you can include in the delivery pipeline, meaning you should be able to fetch a backup of your database and restore it. You should be able to fetch an existing deployed version of your application and deploy it. You should maybe change to another zone if that primary region is down. These are very important steps that we think, well, nothing can go wrong, but that is not the case, of course. About threat intelligence, this type of service offers you context, offers you information that might allow you to prevent and mitigate potential attacks. They tell you they are scanning different sources, dark webs maybe, and for sure, and they are mentioning, well, telling you, well, someone is mentioning you, or someone is preparing to attack you, or these are their capabilities, or this is where you should look for indication of compromises on your server. And of course, last but not least is pen testing. Even if we have done all the activities that I have been discussing before, we should still have a team, or maybe have a bug bounty program, either public or private, and have someone that is doing this type of activities really test of our application. If you want to learn more about what we are doing in Visma in different fields, from talks from our security conference to different tech talks that we are having, our contributions to open source. Here we have also two projects. I was talking about that NuGet package problem. We call it confused .NET, I think the project name is. You can look it here. We are on Twitter, different podcasts, and working a lot on the research, as Monica was mentioning. So that was all that I wanted to present today. So thank you for listening.
I would like to mention something because Nelson wrote that it's important to act very fast when you are attacked. And I would like to say that not always it's good to be fast when you discover an attack. If you can make sure that the attack doesn't penetrate your systems or your network, then it's okay to be fast. But once they already are in your network, it's better to be calm and to try to collect as much as possible information so that you can provide that information to police or other legal departments that can help you. And I can share with you that Visma did that, and we help the police to arrest a guy. We went a little bit further than this, and we give the coordinates where the hacker was. And based on the evidence that we collected in our systems, we were able to go to trial with that person and to jail him. So not always good to be fast, but try to protect and to collect all the traces that hackers left behind.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. This was very good presentation, very enlightening, and I'm sure people learned a lot. I'm not from tech and I learned a lot, so I'm guessing everyone did. Um, I'd like to have a couple of questions. So you already answered Nelson, which is really good. But I want to ask a little bit about FISMA and the open positions. By the way, if you didn't notice, there's a button on the screen to apply to the open position that FISMA has. So I'd like to ask a little bit, to talk a little bit about the open positions that you have. You're hiring for Portugal, how the process works. So I'm sure we have a lot of people who would be interested here.
Well, I can tell you a funny story before that. We just opened an office in Porto, and we said, why don't we try it for our team building? So we went there and we had a fire alarm, we had an incident and heavy rain, but I can tell you that it was amazing team building event, and we enjoyed it and it was really, really fun. So we are looking forward to come again in Portugal.
You are welcome. You are very welcome in Porto. I think this is the part where I come in. I'm not a tech person. I'm working in the people's department in Portugal. So as you have already noticed, we opened a recent office in Portugal, which is in Porto. And it's been a great adventure. A funny fact is that I'm here for 2 weeks, so I'm actually new in Visma, and I'm very close to the recruitment process because it was like 2 weeks ago. But besides all the HR process and all of that, I also work in recruitment. So what I'd like to share with you is that what we look for in a colleague is people with great technical potential. Because even if you don't have the technical skills we need yet, we can help you. We can help you learn them. Okay, this is a very important message I'd like to share with you. Essentially, we are looking for people that understand and live by our values. So during the recruitment process, we will try to evaluate your soft skills, because they are actually very important for us, and your technical level with an assignment. This assignment, we have different assignments because we have different product teams, but is a home assignment. So you have time to think, to research, to explore the best solution. And besides this, we believe in feedback. So what we do is we take time to review the technical assignments with our candidates, and we do this because we want to understand better our candidates' choices and solutions, and also to be able to give constructive feedback. And I think that's the overall about the recruitment process. If you have any more questions about this, feel free.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Joanna. I've heard that Visma does a lot of activities, just like hackathons. Can you, any of you, talk about that a little bit?
I don't know if any of my colleagues have more details about this, but yes, we do.
Yes, I think each of, like I told you in the beginning, we have 300 companies, and each of them are very different from one from the other. And I can tell you that there are different kinds of events, and hackathons are one of the event type that we have. Uh, we had different types based on team. For example, hackathons in the team. We have, like Alina mentioned, Code for Beer. We participate to a lot of coding activities, like pizza and coding. I think we had an event in Romania last week. So many different activities. And one curious fact, we have also a company, one of the product teams that have their own forest, and they plant a tree. I think I don't remember exactly for which reason, but I know that now they have a very big tree, a very big forest. So a lot of activities, very different, and a lot of amazing things that happens in the company.
That's awesome. And I'm going to do one last question because we are almost out of time. But I've seen that we have people working for Visma in a lot of places. You just arrived in Porto. Can you tell us a little bit about that, about where you have office, about this culture of, having people from all over the place?
Yes, I think we can say that Visma is trying to be very diverse and to be very inclusive. We have colleagues in many countries in Europe, from Norway, Sweden, Finland, Lithuania, Spain, Portugal now, Romania, Slovakia, France. So I think many countries, Hungary. We have also over the ocean in South America. I think we have in Argentina, Peru. And also we have different programs where we take people from outside of Europe countries, for example, and they want to move to Europe, we also try to help that because we want to include people from all kinds of cultures. We saw the benefits of having that, so I think it's an amazing thing. And for example, when you go to the headquarter in Oslo, they had the habit to put the flag from the country where they are. And I can tell you that first time that I went there, I saw at least 30 or 40 different types of flags. So I don't know now the statistics, but I know that they are from many, many different countries.
That's really, really good to know. So I want to thank again Monica, Lina, Joanna for joining us today and gave this amazing session. Don't forget, everyone who's listening, to check Visma's Jobs. There is a button on the top here. If you want to watch this session again, you can use the same link. And if you need something, any help that we can do, you always have Landing Jobs contacts. Thank you again for an amazing session.
Thank you, everybody, for your
Thank
time.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.